Ah, the French.
Good morning,
morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be with y'all today. Good to see you, Brayhard. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, Bad Rocks. Good to see you, Tantalus. Good to see you, Mel. And congratulations, Kit. You've won the crown first into this day. A crown that is very square. And Quacksplat. Good to see you, too. Are we playing Sims and Minecraft? All I'll say to that is, Nibagabagool? Anyway, yes, Tantalus, this is the, Cobblestone server I'll be working on today. And Brayhard, I don't know if that episode's iconic. It's certainly infamous. But I have an important update about the seal plush. It's heckin' Wimdy. First of all, we're going with Champagne as his name. Also, Mel, thank you for the 17-month free sub. Anyway, I have an important update about Champagne. Just discovered he can hold my glasses. This thing is a gift that just keeps on giving. So yeah, I'm easily entertained sometimes. He can see, well, you know, so he has eyes. But yes, we have Champagne or Champagne. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into the server. Okay, so what I want to do today is I want to build a house because I don't have much of a house, if I'm honest. So what I want to do first is kind of lay out a foundation around here-ish. And then we can go and collect more. I want to use the wood that's those like tall red trees as the main outside. And then kind of the interior we'll use oak stuff for like the cabinetry. Jammy Sham. Sure. Now this will not be a lavish house. There'll be a few rooms. How goes the missile silo? We're not working on it today. We're working on a house instead. So that I feel less cramped with where I'm living and where my resources are. So I think if we build at about this level, this would be good. Hey, Blossom, good to see you. The cliff dwelling? Well, we're moving out of the cliff and move to on top of the cliff. Oh, dear. The server is having to think about things. I got timed out. Let's see if we can get back in. Kevin, the guy who's... Please pray for you, some of the guys sticking out the area and trying to get into people's homes. In my house and snooped around while I was gone. Oh, I am sorry, Blossom. You absolutely have my prayers for your safety and well-being of mind. That is awful. I am sorry. I hope the authorities can take care of that quickly and safely. And oh, don't you have their house? That just shouldn't happen. I'm sorry that did. So, gracious God, we ask that you just be with Blossom and be with the whole community and grant them safety and peace of mind. And help them in to that this creep, quite frankly, can go away and justice may be found. We ask this in your holy name, amen. Okay, looks like the server's back to normal. Hey, Caesar. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. What are we doing? We're building a house. Because I'm tired of living in a hovel in the ground. Like, look, that's part of my house. I had to remove that block so that treasure chest, not treasure chest, whatever it is, could be opened. Ultra rare lavatar. I don't know what that even is. Is this the Cobblemon server? It is. One whole week. My house should have more mushrooms. I don't think so. Good to see you, Gail. Hope you're doing well. So I build house instead of gym because if I have an organized house where I'm keeping my materials, it makes it easier to build something like the gym. An organized base helps in Minecraft, enables and allows you to do all your other projects. So are you just a wandering gym leader right now? Yeah. I mean, I'm not wandering. The missile silo is just on the other side of that ridge. Onion. I didn't know those were onions. I should have known, actually. They look like alliums. Anyway, so I wanted to do sort of a layer of cobblestone first. And then the wood above that. Intense search is an electric soul. Why do you need the silo to store your prayer books? Because I have a lot of them. And it's weighing down my bookshelf. Anyway, I was also kind of thinking the house could be like an L shape. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Smooth interior sheep. Well, I mean, yeah. That just comes standard in Minecraft. Oh, no! Oh, no, please. Please, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin was generating the Nether today for us to explore. You blamed the host internet. I think the server is probably just a little overworked and hasn't had enough time to rest after generating the Nether. Jude would be an appropriate intercessor at this point. I mean, in general, yeah. But Kevin's tried to do the thing where, like, you pre-generate all the chunks so that when they are just when they're found, they don't need to be regenerated, which is actually kind of like pretty nice. And I think there are set bounds to this world. Like, I don't think it's an infinite world like most Minecraft is. Anyway, so what I was thinking is kind of like entryway, stairs to an upstairs, which would be storage, and then kind of a bedroom underneath the stairs. I might replace this. I don't know. We'll find out. Need to make sure I have a way to get back up here. Okay, let's drop off a bunch of this so that we have as much room as possible, or as reasonable, for our, did I make 3 axes? I thought I made 3 axes earlier. Oh, we already used one, duh. Because we need to go get some wood. We need quite a bit of wood to build this house, but... So this is the part where I'd be more worried about the server crashing than me placing blocks on the hill, but... I'm also very impressed with how the distance render mod works. Because, like, all those red trees there do not exist. Like, if you get closer, you'll find actual trees. Like, does that make sense? That is essentially kind of like a model that the game has generated. Does Cobblemon stuff require mods on my end or just server side? As a gym leader, you giving Pokemon for the gym or you have to catch them? We have to catch them. So you may see on my left side of the screen is all my ice types. That is my ice type team. Although I might put Delibird in so I can get some flying moves in there. But anyway, and then I have a bug type team as well. Although I still want to maybe catch 1 or 2 others to round it out. And yes, it does require us to have server or mod stuff on our end as well. It has to be both client and host. Yeah, the distant render mod gives you an accurate understanding with false information. That's a very good way to put it, and also mildly existentially uncomfortable. Timber! You can zoom background of your actual room. I saw someone do that once, and like he walked into his camera view, and it looked like he came out of a cabinet, and it's like, that's not right. What? Oh, there we go. Server just had to... Oh no, server's thinking. Oh no. Here, I'll show the... I'll show the server champagne. Maybe that'll help. Oh, it did not help. It rejected champagne. Well, I already had this feel, and the great thing is, I'll show you this feel if I can get back in. It's tiny because there's a mod which changes the size of the Pokemons. And so like I have one that's huge. I'll show you that as well. But then you can get tiny. So my feel is tiny. So it's honestly about this size. Okay. I think I'm just gonna try to bivouac down here for a bit. Anyway, here's the Spheal. Look how tiny it is. And then here is my Avalugg, which is huge in size. Just a wee bit of a size comparison. I'm gonna grab a screenshot. Big boy. Yeah, he's gonna be wrestling for the WWE at this rate. That's insane. You know what's insane? I can't ride it. You can ride certain Pokemon to get around faster. That one? Nope. Oh dear. I'm backwards teleporting. Defeat the little on post doses. Oh, I want to stay tiny. This feels like a nightmare where I'm running and I'm not getting anywhere. Ow. Ow, what? 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 Oh! I was being attacked by something. I'm gonna reset this. The downside of mods, it takes a while to leave. Ah, you found the leaving emote. I'm quite proud of the leaving emote. I modified it slightly from the original, but I made that entirely in Canva. Yeah, I think the yellow helps make it more obvious that it's something different. But I love the way he, like, rotates out. I died. This is not a huge problem. Hey, love! Good to see you. Did you get your, ornament yet? Hey! I'm so glad. I trust and believe that this will work. If not, we'll jump back to the other server, but I have to reset the I have to do something on that because my dad changed the address. Kylie is over for the day. We're picking trees for Christmas. Hey, that sounds like a great day. I can't wait to do some Christmas baking. I get to do it Christmas Eve. Wait. Wait. My tombstone disappeared. No, it didn't. There it is. Okay. Oh. I told my mom I need a potato and some baking chocolate. Did you say potato and baking chocolate? I did. I did, in fact, say those two things. I got a very similar reaction out of my mother. It's for a chocolate potato cake from 1912. It's actually a really good recipe. Is this chocolate-coated bacon or bacon-flavored chocolate? No, just baking chocolate, not bacon chocolate. That sounds good, honestly. Yeah, no, it is good. Yeah, sorry to. No, what it is basically you're using a potato as for potato flour, essentially. Um, So yeah, is it gluten free? No, it is not. It does still use flour, but it uses less flour. Um, but yeah, you use a whole potato, and what makes it really interesting to me as a recipe is that the chocolate, you actually have to grate it in, and what I've made this before. What happens is it actually gives this very light chocolate sort of hint throughout the cake, rather than being like an aggressively chocolate cake. I don't have anything to make a window. Yeah, I guess I could just have holes in my walls for now. You like your I like my chocolate aggressive too, but this, I tried this and it's like, oh, that's actually really good. Doors should be on the side, have a patio area. Ooh, that's a good idea. Let's mark out a couple of windows, I guess. I'll probably come back with sand and make it to have some actual windows, but is this called on my own server? No, this is run by a friend of mine who goes by Kevin the Space Penguin. And he has started this, and he's invited myself and a bunch of VTubers. I'm the only non-VTuber on it. Okay, we'll start out with that for now. Let's go make some stairs so we can mark out kind of the upper level. You'd like potato in about a 3-foot or 2-inch diameter PVC pipe and a 2-inch to 4-inch PVC adapter, about 6 to 12-inch 4-inch PVC pipe. And what? 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 I say again because it's all I can say. What? Concert it! Okay, I think we're gonna have to let that server kind of sleep for now. Time to go to the other server, but I have to update its address. Travel across the land, searching far and wide. Where was that message? There it is. This might not actually work as well as I want for various reasons, but we'll see. Okay, well, that doesn't work either. I'll let him know. Anyway, yeah, so last time we were in this server, we finished the Byzantine Church with the Onion Dome. It's not my favorite dome, but, you know, it was a good experiment. Is the old server closed? No, no, this is the old server. Onions are tough in grid form. Yeah, and I think I shouldn't have done, like, the collar. I should have just started there, but... New shelves should help with that. There are new shelves? I don't pay attention to the updates. I use Optifine, so things update slower. Shelf blocks. They're like vertical planks. Hey. Or like vertical slabs, you mean? Is that... Because that could actually be really useful. Vertical slab. Ooh. Well. Time for me to be cantankerous and say, oh, we didn't have those back in my day. I'm a real video game player. I'm impossible to please. Something's missing. I don't like it. You put the thing in. I don't like it. I kid. This is a bit for comedy. Can go in there. White wool can go in there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know what I want to do in this server for just one day. I've mostly been thinking about the house and what the gym would look like. That I haven't really thought about this. Your roll dryer balls got fleeced. I guess we could work on the roads. It's not glamorous, but it needs to happen. My shovel's too good. Because we kind of have this as like a central hub, this courtyard. I think I kind of want to leave the path into the cemetery just as it is, so there's not really necessarily a distinct path other than what's mostly mode. Sure. Hey there, Hope. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good, except the Hobblemon server I was on kept crashing. So we're back on the OG server for a bit. Although this isn't technically even the OG server. For those who have been around really long, there was a server even before this. That one I started in seminary. Glad to hear you're doing well. At some point, this is going to have to turn. I guess right here is good as any. Let's leave that off there for now. We'll go make a path at the Opera House. Oh! Didn't mean to do that. We can make the whole path here 3 wide. Oh, that's cool. When you lower the block height by the pixel by trimming the grass into a path, You can see below it. Well, we can fix that. And then here we'll make it too wide. So it can connect with the rest of the path system. Ah, wrong button. So where's this path connecting through? So I gotta avoid some danger holes. You got to go on a field trip with your boss to one of your clients' offices, pick up toys for a drive we did together. Hey, that's awesome. That sounds like a nice outing. Nice opportunity to get out of the office. A good way to give back to the community. Might drive yourself. Next time, he's constantly on his cell phone. Oh, wait, while he's driving? In ooting, you might say. Oh, sure, yeah, don't you know, eh? Today we're having a Midwest accent day, eh? Got so many phone calls and things he needs to look at. Okay. So it's like boss things. It's not like he's, like, just pulling up Twitter while he's driving, being like, oh, look what random celebrity had to say. Oh, that was a Spy Plus family outing because Anya's can't pronounce words. Oh. Yeah, I haven't watched that. I know of it. At some point he handed me his phone and said, hey, I pulled up the policy up. Can you look? Tell me what all the other barrels deductible will be. Ah. Those are words. Sorry, tree, you're in the way. We'll replant your saplings in honor. In this case, it's 25 grand. I feel like that's a lot, but I don't know. One of the weird things about being religious and having joined the community right out of college is I have very little perspective for certain things in the quote-unquote real world. I'm going to leave this path here for now because we're going to need something to get to there. Barrel deductible sounds like a general deductible for barrels not explicitly stated in contract. I'll take your word for it. I really need to fill in this danger hole one day. Because then I could keep this path going. And connect it up to the other side of this path. I don't know, is today that day? I don't know if today's that day. Can't I make a bridge? I guess I could, but then the problem is I still have the danger hole from all other sides. Like, this is a real danger hole. And I fell in the danger hole. Yeah, it's my own natural wonder that I'm gonna fall down and hurt myself with. Like, that goes to Deep Slate. Wait, Mel, are you still there? Rails, but the problem is that the bridge. I could put railings all the way around it, I guess, and put a bridge through it, but then I don't know. I do not like that idea. I can't turn those into path because of the pressure plates. Like, if I made them into pressure plates, they would return. Because I added something to the soundboard, Mel. What was that? Hardtack. Hardtack? I don't think that's generally the sentiment associated, but you know. I need to go see if I have more dirt back at the base. Because I want to build a path that way, kind of towards the house and the courtyard. If you don't, if you donate to Busted Halo by the end of the year, your donation will be doubled. I think I read that in an email somewhere. I've described some of my drink as liquid hate. What on earth are you drinking? And yeah. Well, it's not necessarily on the readings from Mass of the day, but on the prayers of the day, Liturgy of the Hours, evening prayer. These final 7 days leading up to Christmas, we have unique prayers, and one of them that we use are the antiphons, which are used in evening prayer, and each day gets a unique one. And if you know O Come Emmanuel, then you have definitely heard the sort of interpretations of the O antiphons, because that's where they come from. Today is O Sapiencia, O Wisdom, the first thing that we're calling upon. And I think there's sort of a beauty in that when we're calling upon Christ in these 7 unique names, that we're starting with wisdom. And we are asking for that wisdom to help us understand all of these names as we go forward in this season. Malort and Mescal. Yeah, that sounds like hatred in a cup. Raises the question, why? We'll take a turn around the cactus farm. You ask for patience to get your patience tested. You're afraid to ask for wisdom. Valid. Because you like the flavor? I mean, fair enough. If you want to know more about the various O antiphons, there is an article pinned to the top of BustedHalo.com right now that I wrote about the O antiphons. So that's where we want to connect to, so let's start building the pathway from here. Back to work. Hey, good to see you, Mel. You take care. Wow. Out of my way, sheep. I have to knock down both these trees, get these leaves to degrade. You can dye sheep and somehow it makes them able to have vibrantly colored kids too. Well, yeah, it just makes sense, you know. If you dye one sheep red and one sheep blue, they have a child, it's gonna be purple. Anyway, Minecraft uses CRISPR technology for its dyes. Yeah, it's exactly what Gregor Mitchell taught. He was known for that famous dying sheep experiment. You're correct in thinking way to dye sheep is dye exploding frogs and shoot them at the sheep. I suppose there's probably a mod that does that, if I'm being entirely honest. No, Breaker, don't worry. RuneScape will... RuneScape isn't real. It can't hurt you. Just setting off fireworks in my home. This is another reason I wanted to build an actual home in the other area. It's like... basically, every base I have ever built is always a hole in the ground because I'm already there and it's convenient. Same! I don't know if you had the intention of a vibrato in there, but, you know. You were Dicker Gobby, never built house. I mean, I did build a house here. I just don't live in it. I built it for aesthetic purposes. See, there it is, being very aesthetic. Complete with furniture. And a very open bedroom space. Oh, I need to put a bed back. Whoops. I must have stolen a bed from here at some point. And my favorite feature is the balcony, where you can jump off into the pool! This is not a safe thing. Please do not do this. You like the pool bottom for some reason. I mean, I think you were the one who suggested it, to be honest. It's been a while since I built that, so I don't necessarily remember, but... I think you were the one who suggested the glazed terracotta, and I chose the brown one and put it into this pattern. You did suggest it, see? I don't think you need to have, for some reason. Let's see what some of our roads look like from higher up. Okay, yeah, you can see the road that goes there, and... Ow. All roads lead to circle. Well, all roads lead to church. Because circle leads to church. Because you may notice that, A, the church is built into the circle, or the circle is built into the church, and there is no road. There is only church. I wish there were, like, floodlights that I could put up there to make this all more bright and visible. But the light here does look awesome with Optifine. Got the confessionals. I find it kind of funny that the main altar is smaller than this altar. But I also like that all three altars have their own design, but are all the same material. I also like how this ambo turned out with these trapdoors. I like this build. I like this build a lot. Meeting! Okay. Hope you have a great rest of your day. You take care, Beer Fox. kind of want to see if the other server is freaking out less now. Where are the Stations of the Cross? That's a little harder to design. Yeah, let's see if the other server is feeling better. I'm going to be on for the bait. I might be. I don't know. Just Roman numerals with the cross. Yeah, but that gets pretty big with the size of Minecraft is the problem. Sounds like the market? I guess. I don't know. I don't think it needs it, to be honest. Okay, well, someone else is in the server, so that's a good sign. Oh, Hypnos is on. Okay, we were gonna make some stairs now. Okay, interesting. I can make a xylophone? Well, we're making a xylophone. What was I thinking? I was thinking, so we could do just classic stairs, or we could do slabs like we did in the modernist home, but if you do that, it has to be pretty long, so I don't think we're gonna have the space. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. No! But that didn't kick Hypnos out. This might be a problem on my end. Get to see my face so many times up close. This here, I'll everything's gonna be fine, chat. Champagne is here. I need to make an emote of Champagne somehow. It's our new mascot. I did see the announcement about the Nether generation, but he said that would be done around 2:30. Okay, we're gonna try the. I made some stairs. We're gonna try this one last time. If it crashes again, I may just call it for the day. So what if we started our stairs about there? That gives us some amount of room. There, we'll make that the height up to the second level. So then what it can actually also do is we can do something kind of aesthetic like that. Stairs crashing sounds like a big problem. I don't know why we let stairs drive. Like, that seems a big mistake in the first place. But anyway, so if we have our stairs like this, we can make kind of our, like, how am I trying to put this? This room can be 4 blocks tall. This room will be 5-ish blocks, 5 or 6 blocks tall. And we can make the upstairs like 5 blocks tall. Do you see the vision? Is the vision coming together? Then I think maybe we'll have a different wood be the flooring. Also, you don't... Pinecoat. No, get out of my house. You're not one of my Pokemon. And there it is. It doesn't like me interact, like being in the world, it's like, yeah, whatever. But like placing things, opening containers, that's when it's getting upset. Oh, it's looking like I need to just flush my DNS. So go explore. Try. Giving me a xylophone was a mistake. I should not be allowed such power. Can I place it? Nope. Doesn't look like I can. Wait. Individual keys can control it too. It was a mistake. Anyway, I guess let's go explore. We can teleport to a random village. Or, okay, hold on. Let me try flushing my DNS. Oh, we're troubleshooting live. Troubleshooting, woo! I'm glad you're enthusiastic. Someone out around here has to be. Are you sure it is? It could be, but given the error it's been giving me, and the fact that I'm getting kicked out, but Hypnos is in the server and is doing fine, that gives me a little bit of data. Now, loading terrain always takes a while, just because. Okay, I'm not getting a... I was getting a... Not an error, but a warning previously when jumping in. I didn't get it this time. So, that's reassuring. Alright, I can't open this one because I... That's not what I wanted to make. There we go. Spruce planks. Are you sure there aren't alien hackers working for the Dark Star Shadow Empire? Well, you never know that one, so... Anyway, what I'm thinking is actually now this will be the loft, like, for the bedroom. So a small little bedroom area, but, you know, I don't need so much. Nope, never mind. That does seem... okay. I don't know. Hypno seems to be doing fine, but I'm not. Maybe it is another generation. I don't know. Servers also be complicated, yo. Let's create a single-player world with all these mods. So I just want to see a few things. Because this will also help us sort of be able to plan out, like, what we want to put in the kitchen. Uh-oh, I didn't... Oh, wait. No, I can do it here. Can I? No, I can't. Dang it. Ah! Hopefully it's not my computer having hardware issues. I should hope not. The computer is only like a year old. I got a stick of RAM lying around. I should sell that. Yeah, it is getting pretty expensive, and it's really stupid. Like, Bones are reducing the amount of RAM they have next year in the models because of it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully not right now, because it's... Of course our starter is Squirtle. But I want to check out... So I need to figure out how to make that... But see, this mod has cabinets and counters. Which are essentially just storage, but, you know, it's aesthetic. But, you know, we could put a little bit of... Do you make it? Let's put down a crafting bench. Oh, I do not know how to make an oven right now. There's so many options. But there's also... Just gonna grab... There are roof pieces that we will be able to build. So that we could have some variation even in the height of the roofs. That looks good. Looks like shingles. Like roof shingles. Okay, I'm not entirely sure how that's... Okay, I see how that's connecting. That's interesting. Oh! That's cool. Turns into corners automatically. That's pretty nifty. Revan is homeless. A little bit in Minecraft. Good to see Inca. We're just doing a little creative testing because anytime I'm in the Cobblemon server right now, it keeps crashing. Now it's Cobblemon, so theoretically, if I take a Master Ball, you should be able to find literally any Pokemon. Although I haven't seen any generating. Oh, there's one. And you're mine, and you're mine. I want to check out what these floating islands are, because I've seen those in our server, but I haven't been to them. You're also homeless in Minecraft? Told you can sleep in Old Asia. Yeah, so I have like a hole in the wall in a cliff where I keep my stuff, but like I'm trying to build an actual home now. But it was slow going because... Oh, there's that distant view mod. See those things disappearing? They technically never existed. They were just like a picture to say, hey, there's something here. Oh, cherry tree. Yeah, randomly cherry trees floating up there. Just make yourself a dirt road and sleep in the side of it. Unfortunately, Minecraft doesn't understand that. It does not understand the power of being a fool for Christ and living simply, but... It's kind of fun just having a bunch of Master Balls that I can throw. Just catch everything and just fly away and be like, yep, I have this. This is not on the server. So, Minecraft needs a new mod, you say? I guess Minecraft can never have enough mods. This is a cool biome, though. These rocks with these little pools on it. It makes me think of the Giant's Causeway. What's this giant building here? What's with this mansion here? Well, that's creepy. I hear someone harumphing. That is a giant villager head. Hey, Scruffy. Hi. Is this your mansion? These all yours? Should I be in danger? Am I in danger? Should I be afraid? I'm in creative mode, so I don't really care, because we're mostly just goofing off at this point. Turns out there's a very good chance the president is going to be speaking at a conference I'll be at this week. Oh, okay. Trees appearing, trees disappearing. Cow Pokemon, I choose you! What do you mean I can't catch this cow? Oh yeah, security will be nuts. Is this modded? Nah, it's just Pokemon in regular Minecraft. Yeah, no, there's a whole bunch of mods here. One that adds extra biomes, one that increases the view distance. Curious about this island. You can see how the view distance one works there. There's kind of it's like a mirage effect almost. So like here you can see underground because the chunks haven't loaded in, but it's too close for the Distant Horizons one to activate. I was actually just hoping to find a village, to be honest. You haven't seen the Pokemon yet? Oh, if you look on the left, you can see my party right now. This is just a creative mode, though, so this is me mostly just goofing around, because the server that I'm a part of isn't working for me right now. There's a Pokemon. Oh, our Squirtle is massive. Day's been good. We had our Christmas party. There we go. Now we have a large Wartortle. Oh, that is a big turtle. Butterfree, what did you do? What did you do here, Butterfree? Why is everything on fire? Okay, let's see if we can see a village anywhere. Wow, look how big that house is. Butterfree the arsonist. Butterfree used flame wheel. Wait, hold on. It's a bug type. Here's what a Christmas party of clergy looks like. Well, this was the Christmas party for our house employees. So as anyone who works in the house, which includes all the priests, but is not exclusive to just the priests. So we ordered in pizzas. Although yesterday we had the Busted Halo Christmas party. I also had the Sons of the American Revolution Christmas party yesterday. I have a lot of Christmas parties just very tightly packed. And I know everyone has a lot of Christmas parties at this time. It's just, it makes me laugh that I have 3 in like a 24-hour window. But the Busted Halo one, we went out to a very nice lunch. You know me, wild party animal. Here's a village. There's its Poke Center. Why do we only have Christmas parties at this time of year? It's a great question, Brayherd. Glad you were asking the important questions around here. Is that Bar's brother? Brayherd Lord? Par to animal. Oh. Oh. Empar. Yes. Empar too. Oh. MT Rock? No, M to animal. Oh. Par cousin. Now I want to do that. I want to play 2 characters simultaneously who are essentially the same character. Maybe if there's ever a sequel D&D thing, I'll play Par to Animal, and it's the exact same character. Massive ladybug. Did you just laser the cow? You know, everyone needs a hobby. Plus, is how you cook fresh beef. You went to the Cathedral, St. Sophia, young adult Christmas party on Friday. First time in your life you met a priest who is younger than you, only by a few months at most. It's a sign you're getting old. I don't know if that's a sign you're getting old, but that is a very young priest. He must be very newly ordained, I'm guessing. God bless him. Axios. He wasn't even a deacon at the start of the month. Yeah, knowing how the Orthodox be around that. That weirdly doesn't surprise me. Nap time after a long day of travel, so most must lurk. Hey, thank you for the alert. Good to see you, Scruffy. You take care. Get a good nap. Catch the chicken. What are these things? They're not Pokemon. Must be another mod. Also, we're in a land of giant flowers. Graduated from seminary several years ago, but didn't ordain him until he got married. Yeah, that tracks. I knew a Ukrainian guy who was subdeacon for years and years and years because he wasn't married. And like, as soon as he got married, he was like, whoop, fast track to priesthood. So one of the obnoxious things about this mod is that each town will have a Poké Center, but not every Poké Center will have a computer. Oh, hey, this is where we started. We found Spawn! The reason we came here in the first place, to even look at stuff. Yeah, there's cutting boards. Because you can make, like, fancy sandwiches and things. Is there a sink? Oh, yeah, there's a sink. You know, we gotta figure out how to make the sink so we can put it in there. Well, I think that's really all I really wanted to do / can do at this point. So I can't really get into the It did splash. I don't know if it has any purpose, but yeah, I guess we'll just wrap up there about 15-ish minutes early, because at this point, like, I can't get back into the main server and don't have anything to do in the other server. So I think we're just gonna call it there. Sometimes it's better to wrap things up. So thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow. Gonna be doing some more Humongous Entertainment. Probably going live late. I've got a lunch with a brother at 1 o'clock. Don't know when we'll be back. Stream will still happen, so don't worry about that, but we'll just play it by ear. Yeah, and then next Monday, something. I don't know if it's going to be more Kingdom Hearts or if we're going to do something Christmassy, because that'll be the last stream for a week. Yeah, I think that's everything. So thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna send John over to Dio, friend I made at Reach. Fun guy. He's playing a game called Billionaire. It's like a roguelike pachinko game. It's number go burr. It's fun to watch. So go give him some love. Raid call is Father Raid. Yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you tomorrow. Take care. God bless.